Greetings and salutations, race fans, Dakar 2024 lovers, because we all love it. Stage 9, day 10 of the Raceday look at Dakar 2024. I'm Colin.
I'm Clifford.
And we're joined by Simon Murray, a huge character, a racer of a two-wheel drive, and apparently I'm not allowed to call them buckies.
Definitely.
So I'll start off with my first apology. It's not a bucky, it's a finely tuned racing vehicle, a machine of note. These things that race in Dakar are race cars. So please accept all my apologies for those who I've offended. I'll do my very best to offend as many people as I can tonight, starting with...
I'd say 90% of people that live in Centurion have just been like, yeah, he's right.
As long as the butts in four ways, who there at the Fart Club, I don't offend you too much, but it's lekker. Well, let's just start with the big news today. There are toys all over Dakar. Nasser Al Attiyah, 500 meters into the stage. The Ford engine expired, and Nasser, we have a short interview, and I've got to say thank you to Dakar.com for allowing us to share this video. It's quite super special. So without any adieus, roll it.
Sorry, I don't want to jump again in this car. I decide, just coming to say thank you, and I leave home tonight.
Pas d'inquiétude au niveau fiabilité, on a vu que Nasser avait encore eu des problèmes aujourd'hui.
Il y a des problèmes, ouais. Moteur aussi. Encore? Ouais. On a bien l'air de marcher.
This year for Dakar, I learned something, in my life, and never will happen again.
Right, we're going to leave that there. We're just going to park it.
What do you think he learnt in his life?
We're going to park that for now, and we'll talk about it.
Because he said he learned something. Yeah. I want to know what that one thing is that he learned.
I think I have a suspicion. I'm waiting for a reply from two people in Saudi Arabia. I think I've got the one, so there's three sources that I've approached.
Okay.
And they will, of course, be anonymous. And
yeah,
we're going to talk about Simon Murray races in the regional cross-country races, track racer. He's got some really good insights into the two-wheel drive, highly tuned WCT Hilux Bucky two-wheel drive car. We're going to get to that later. Let's talk about the results of the stage. Yeah. Yesterday, just results first, and then analysis. Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so Seb Loeb and Fabian Lurken, 4 hours, 17 minutes, and 33 seconds to cover Hail to Alua. And they ended up 4 minutes and 4 seconds ahead of King Carlos and Lucas Cruz, Matthew Serradori, and Loic Menordia in the CR6T were third overall, probably my driver of the day. Unbelievable result. They were running second at one time, ended up third. Demevius fourth, Bottrell in another stunning driver. So my driver of the day is going to be very difficult to choose. Bottrell, then Peter Hansel, Lucas Marias, and Monleon. Ekstrom Dumas Prokop. 11th was Baragwanath in the CR7T. 12 Janil de Villiers, 14 Variawa, and 21 Leia Saints. And then Gareth Woolridge, 31st, and Elia Colick, 57 minutes behind in 33rd position. They may change because actually de Villiers' position does change. So we'll work that out a little bit later. But we'll talk about the impacts of that. Let's listen to the bikes. What happened?
In the backs, we've got Adrian van Beveren, who took the stage win today. He's coming good and he's coming fast, eh? He's been the star all of a sudden the last few stages, and he sits third overall, 11 minutes behind. And we'll get to overalls later, but all of a sudden he's found some pace. I wouldn't write him off as a contender to maybe win the Dakar.
And this was a big moving stage, stage 9.
It was a tough one.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. So rocks and stuff.
This was one that was earmarked as one of the toughest, and obviously the next one coming up that's a tough one is 11. So this is going to separate the men from the boys for sure. Ricky Brabeck, king of consistency, finished second, 32 seconds behind. And this is where it gets interesting. Pablo Quintela third, Toby Price fourth, and then Ross Branch fifth. losing a bit of time today, not a lot. And we'll catch up with him in our Hero Minute a little bit later. But still in contention, still sitting second overall. Then we've got Kevin Benavides, Nacho Florimo 7th, Luciano Benavides 8th, and then Stefan Svitko 9th. And then this is the big one for me and my ride of the day. Bradley Cox 10th.
Wow.
Wins the Rally 2
Unbelievable.
stage. And he says that he still made a few mistakes, but a lot more to come. So
What a boy.
what a boykie. So Rally 2 win, top 10 finish today on stage 9, which is one of the most difficult stages in Dakar. Charan Moore, who we've actually got standing by, is 27th today. Ash Thrigston 46th. We've also got some interesting footage from him today. 63rd is Ronald Fenter, and then 79th. The Iron Man himself, Stuart Gregory, who's fighting off the sore bums, the calluses, and the burn marks in 79th place. So awesome ride from the South African guys today. And again, all the South Africans are through, which is the most important thing. All the Southern African boys are through, which is...
Shall we get straight to Sharon?
Yeah.
As opposed to talking to Simon? Because
Well, we've got
once,
signal.
once Simon starts,
Yeah.
you never stop, eh? What's your motto? How are you going to go on this rally?
Flat.
Flat out.
Yeah, let's use the signal while we have it. But yeah, we've got Sharon standing by.
He's your bike boy. You got to talk
is
to
he
bike
there?
boy.
Sharon, how's it going? It's obviously Colin, myself, Clifford, and then we've got Mr. Murray himself standing by in the studio. How's things going? How was the stage today? It was a bit of a tough one from what we heard.
Yeah, how's it, guys? It was a cool stage today, actually. Started out in the dunes and some camel grass for the first 100 Ks, and after that kind of opened up into some rocky plateaus and that. So it was a cool mix of stages. They've done a good job at making the stages not one-dimensional. There's so much going into the stages nowadays.
Sharon, we hear a lot about camel grass. Can you describe for the guys watching what is this camel grass stuff that you speak of?
It's literally the worst possible thing you can ride a bike through. So
Yeah, I mean,
it's basically
I equate it to oil on a racetrack.
pretty close. So basically, when you've got open desert like this, obviously there's not much grass or anything, so it's kind of patchy here and there. So it makes these little mounds in the desert. So usually the desert is flat and it's got the dunes rolling, and now when you've got a little bit of grass there, it kind of forms these patches, and they're a little bit raised, and you're basically just getting kicked from side to side the whole time. You can never get a rhythm, and it's just like a fight through the dunes.
Now, this is your third Dakar. How does this one compare to the previous two that you've done?
So with a team, which makes it easier. I'm not doing Malamoto, so I'm not doing all the work myself. But the stages and what the organization has put together is so much harder than the last two I've done. I mean, the 48-hour chrono, the marathon stage. I mean, I think 8 of the 9 stages we've done so far have been over 400k days. So it's been brutal. It's really been a tough Dakar, which I like.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And we've heard via the grapevine that you've also put in a lot of work over the off season and in the build up to Dakar, that putting on extra weight, which is something quite interesting. Obviously, you said last Dakar you were a little bit lighter, but take us through that, because there's a thought process and a whole strategy to your training and everything building up to Dakar.
Yeah, for sure. So, look, firstly, the rally bikes aren't normal 450 motocross bikes. They're a lot bigger, they weigh a lot more. You need to be really strong to handle them when you're hitting things at 140. So coming into last Dakar I weighed 72 kilograms. Coming into this one I'm up to 85, so put on a lot of weight and muscle to try and be able to handle the bike a bit better, to go a bit faster. That's the end goal.
Putting on that weight, what sort of program do you go through? Lifting heavy weights or spending a lot of time on the bike?
Eating.
What's your favorite food?
It's a lot. Oh, geez. Pastas. Definitely pastas.
All of it.
Carbs. No, look, picking up weight, it sounds simple, but it's actually really, really difficult. I had to eat so much because obviously with our training, we burn so many calories in that. So to put on the weight, I was eating like a ridiculous amount of food.
I take it that the USN cap that you have on your head has nothing to do with that whatsoever, huh?
No, got nothing to do with these gains, you know?
It's all in the gym, but
There you go.
So take us
I'm
through
a big
that
foot
chrono
fighter,
stage,
huh?
48 hours. We thought so. That 48-hour chrono stage. Take us through that, because that's I mean, you guys were sort of the guinea pigs to that going forward in Dakar. But preparation and planning and strategy for that, as well as nutrition. How did you guys plan that all, that you could do 2 stages without too much fuss and make it to the end?
So I think firstly to understand, like usually a dune stage is maximum 200 Ks in a day. Now we had to do 600 Ks over 2 days. So the distance was like almost 50% more, now doing 300 Ks a day if you got to 300. But majority of us got 400 in the first day, 200 in the second day. So it was heavy days. And then you're also limited with the amount of stuff you can take with you. I mean, your jacket's only so big, so you need to take all the, your electrolytes and all the nutrition that you need for the second day. They gave us a ration pack to have dinner and that kind of thing in the rest camp at night. But yeah, you had to have your ducks in a row properly for that stage.
Lots of USN.
Yeah, all of it.
So I mean, yeah, all of it. Now looking at the race going forward, I mean, everyone sort of said that they were just trying to get through the first week, but you're sitting within the top 10 in the Rally 2 class. Strategy and mindset now into the last few stages, has it changed at all? What's the plan for the next few stages?
So my goal always going in was week 1 to be safe, be smooth, come get through it healthy and happy, and second week put on a charge and really try and go fast. But unfortunately I've picked up the infamous Dakar influenza, and it's been beating me down for the past couple days.
at least you haven't got the Dakar stomach belly shits, because that is just horrible, horrible, horrible. Going back to the chrono stage with the 600 kilometers in 2 days, how did the tires last? Did you have to use the same tires for the whole stage, or were you able to change?
No, we had to use the same tires for the whole stage. So we had no real service once we got to the camp that we stayed in. Because obviously now at 4 o'clock, the racetrack kind of closed and you had to stop at the next camp. So there was camps A through F, so I think 8 different camps. And when you got there, you could do basic work on your bike with the tools you had on your bike, but that was it. It was kind of like a marathon stage with no service, and you just stopped in the middle of nowhere. But the tires, you know, when you do the dune stages and that, it's not big wear on the tires.
And how have the dunes been this Dakar so far? Because we heard that the sand is a little bit softer, so it's been a little bit more difficult for the cars. Have you found it the same to be with the bikes?
Yeah, for sure. It's been, I think the temperatures have been quite high around here, so the dunes have been really tricky this year, really soft, and they've been breaking away quite easy. So usually you'd be able to stay on top and kind of skim across them, but you're breaking through into the soft sand so quickly. So it's been even harder this year.
And then with regards to like just sort of keeping your focus, because I mean, you guys are doing like 600k stages, etc. You ride with earphones and headphones and that to play some music while you're out there riding. If that is the case, what are you listening to in those headphones?
So not in the specials, because
Okay.
like in the specials you're so focused on like not dying that you need 100% concentration. But we have the liaison sections where we do like 200, 300, 400, 500 Ks on the tar road. Then we've got some music in, then we got the jams playing, and for me it's generally the Foo Fighters banging out for hours on end.
Okay, I was wondering maybe you had some like techno going on there, like some hardcore techno from the 90s, but Foo Fighters is pretty good.
Yeah, it'll do.
Those liaisons that you guys are doing, that how do you pace yourself? Because obviously you don't want to ride too slow and sort of lose that perception of speed, etc. But what's the pace like in the liaison to keep it for the special net in terms of energy and power and that sort of thing?
No, liaisons, you just try and get through as quick as possible. So you've got a speed limit of 120 and you're kind of riding at like 115 to get it over as quick as possible. It's just like mind-numbing road riding. Not ideal.
It's a lot. It's like riding to Durban. I mean,
Yeah, so when we chatted to Stuart Gregory, he was complaining about numb bum and a sore bum, etc. Any sort of aches and pains that you've picked up during the course of the race that's starting to wear you down a little bit?
No, listen, I'm not as soft as Stu.
I'll tell you so. Speaking of which, though, I believe you share a camper with a few riders as well. Who you sharing with at the moment?
Yeah, Wes actually just jumped into bed here. We've got an American. We've got a guy from where's Ganzi from? Mongolia. Ash Thixton from Zimbabwe, and Fabian from Uruguay. Where did I say?
Uruguay.
Yeah, I mean, I think you nailed it pretty much.
Yeah.
But
I think that's
it's
Yeah.
Going back to your music, I suppose it's days like these that really make you feel alive.
I see what you did there.
that was good.
Yeah, I think Sharon, thank you so much for your time. I think on that note, let's cut it before it gets cheesier. But thank you so much for sitting down with us. We've been watching your race, we've been watching it unfold, and everyone's incredibly excited and proud of what you've achieved out there. But bring it home safe and enjoy the rest of the stages.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for following Dakar, and thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much, Sharon. I really dig it, and have a good day tomorrow. Race hard, have fun, be fast.
What a super cool guy. It seems like all the bike guys are just super cool, eh?
I suppose they are. I mean, I think the car bike guys are also really cool.
Like that clip we saw earlier, eh?
Look, the one thing you know about
focused,
NASA is he tells it straight.
Yeah,
Absolutely straight. Yeah. Simon Murray.
Colin.
Is your car, is it referred to as a bucky or is it a racing, highly tuned racing vehicle?
You got into trouble for that once already. I mean, it's a highly tuned race truck.
So Achim Bergman designed it, WCT built it and run it, and it's an interesting concept with the Toyota turbocharged motor in it, but two-wheel drive. So it's light and it's quick. What's it like to drive?
It's so it's the same motor as the Toyota Gazoo race cars, literally exactly the same engine. I was quite nervous about it when we got it. I've never driven a rear-wheel drive off-road race car before. So you kind of imagine it's going to be this wild beast trying to kill you the whole time. But it actually feels quite a lot like a track car. It's weird. I mean, you'd never think that an off-road car driving off-road in off-road conditions could feel like a precision instrument.
Now, let's just back up a little bit. That precision instrument that you drove, and I think Peter's got some pictures of your Janetta, which is a proper racing sports car, sort of an LMP 2.5, with lots of ground effect, big slicks, and lots of grunt.
Yeah, they're not that different to drive. I know it sounds mad, but they really aren't that different.
Isn't it always the normal apprehension? Whenever you make a change, you always think whatever you're going to is going to try and kill you. And then you climb on it and it's not so bad. Because you're the one that's pulling the trigger at the end of the day. It's crazy how that works out. But that's a machine.
There's the Janetta then.
That was a fun car. We looked for the... You did have it in shake and bake livery, but I couldn't find a picture of it.
No, you'd think that the two cars would be so completely different that your experience and stuff in them would have no correlation, but it's actually very similar. I mean, it's quite amazing.
It's funny how it works, eh?
You spent a season in a side-by-side and then took the decision to go with the T1 Plus car. Now you're looking at taking another step forward with an Achim WCT car.
Yeah. So the two-wheel drives they're not that difficult to get to, let's say, 80-85% of the performance, but to get that last 10% out of them, to get a consistent, to not crash. I mean, I've had a good couple of crashes in that car, including putting it in a canal, which was not fun. To get that last 5 or 10% out of the car consistently, with, as I said, without crashing, I think is very difficult. And I'm hoping for me that a four-wheel drive will be just a bit more accessible, that last bit of performance side of it. So we'll get to see later in the year.
I want to come back to that performance aspect, because you've had a couple of proper oaks. Not that you're not proper, but you've had some really top...
I'm an enthusiastic amateur. I'm not a pro. Yeah.
You've had a couple of pros in the car. If you remember, if you've got any questions or queries, comments, or things, send them in to us, and we'll try and get there.
Plenty.
And I hope that none of them mean that I have to make an apology for tomorrow. So one more question, and then we'll go to the questions. In order to understand a little bit more of the vehicle, first time you've driven something like that, you got a couple of proper guys to drive the car for you, to get some evaluation for Achim and Stuart to know how quick this thing really is.
Yeah.
What is your experience of that?
When you sit next to a real pro, and I've had two like top pros in it. So
no names.
No names on the one. The second one rhymes with Mark Cronje. Yeah.
And the other one might be the son of a father who races a Porsche that WCT runs.
Correct.
Okay, so now these are two proper, these are champion drivers.
Yeah. So when you, and I've done, I don't know, 8,000 kilometers in the car, so I've driven it a lot. And when you sit with one of those proper pros in the car, they're just doing, if I'm doing 150, they're doing 170. And you can just feel the car getting out of control, just almost imperceptibly. And then the steering wheel flicks a little bit and they get it back under control. And they're braking 25, 30, 50 meters later than you every corner. The thing is sliding, moving around, but it never crashes. It's a real lesson in just how good these top guys are. And that level of car control is incredible.
So they're feeling a lot more sensitive to the yaw of the car.
Yeah.
So you might, if the car's like this, you might respond it exaggerated, of course. Over there, they're responding like as it's starting to move with little inputs, and you might be a lot more busy on the wheel.
And also the brakes. I mean, they can read the terrain, they can feel the grip, and they're braking, they're staying flat for another 50 meters, which makes a big difference in speed. And then they're braking so late and so precisely that, I mean, there's no room for error, but they just don't make mistakes. It's a real, it's a treat to get to go with one of those guys. And because these cars have two seats, rides come up every now and again, and anyone that gets a chance should do it. It really is.
I'm still waiting for my invitations.
Anytime. Next time we test you.
It's quite a humbling experience, isn't it?
Very, very humbling. I mean, I don't get scared easily in a car, but when Mark was driving after about 3 laps, I had to say, please, I've got to get up now. I'm just too scared. I can't. So yeah, it really is an experience to see how fast these guys are.
What a privilege to sit next to two champions like that.
Yeah.
In terms of your ego and your mindset, and that, if you look at it, do you look and say like that's what you aspire to be like? But does your ego take a knock that they can get more out of your car than that, and you just look at it as a learning experience?
No, I'm totally chilled about ego in a car. For me, it's the reason that I race cross country here, is that it's definitely the most competitive race series of anything in South Africa.
Okay.
I mean, you just need to look at top 10 in Dakar and see how many South Africans are in there.
Yeah.
So to get to race against those guys on the same course on the same day, it really gives you a benchmark of where you are and something to aspire to. So for me, I find it motivational.
That's proper. Yeah,
awesome.
I like it.
Right,
Should we catch up? Yeah. So the first man out the gate is, as always, Andrew Spark. Hello, how's it? Yuri Jordan in the house. Good evening. Johan Pins, good evening all. Thank you for the time and information. Cass Kruger, why do you do this to me? But anyway, goeienaand allemaal. How did I do?
That was not too bad.
Johan Kroobla, at least he writes in English. Good evening, everyone. Andrew Spark, hey Volmos. Kevin Retief, good evening all. Isaac Baital, maybe NASA learned that SA built is better.
Now we're going to talk about that now, about my feelings on it and some of the rumblings that are coming out of Saudi Arabia.
Okay, then moving on, Kevin Retief, what about Bottrell and Cummings?
Well, what about that?
Yeah.
That's a problem.
That is probably, if you look at the race so far, here's a rookie.
Yeah.
Lying in ninth at the moment.
It's incredible.
The guy's used his head in this whole race, the guy. But properly used his head. It's been super controlled. He's been patient. And to have a bit of a go today, they had a proper clean run. He said the car was on form, his Navi was on form, and he was on form. To come in fifth, 10 minutes off Sebi Loeb, who was on maximum attack, is not bad at all.
Right, yeah, 100%, but I'm sure we're going to touch on that a bit later. Kerrika Smith, hi from Uppington. Lacquer, Toby Price, 4th position. Yeah, Toby Price, I've got him as 4th for stage 9. Then we've got Jonathan Sims, keep going SA teams, making progress. Quinton Lessing, thanks for the show, guys. Any chance of making the show a regular, maybe monthly?
Well, I'll tell you, we'd love it.
We'd need Dakar to happen every month. But I think we could sort of make a plan. But yeah, we'd love to keep it
One
going.
of the things we are looking at, Quentin, is to try and do it. Have a bike stroke car stroke BS session sort of every 2 weeks. At the moment, there are some logistical issues that we're looking at, but I'm sure we'll get there.
Then we've got Jan Sweekers, the Kalahari Ferrari must show them. He could have the last 3 stage wins and podium number 1. Absolutely, and my thoughts on that is, and Ross touched on it when we interviewed him on the Saturday, he said that he actually enjoyed the rocky stuff as opposed to not enjoying it before, and he's found that he had good pace and he was stronger than a lot of the guys, and that's where we're headed now. Last few stages are quite rocky, and so maybe this is where we'll see the attack. So yeah, but look, I mean, today losing a bit of time, I think Ross will start to put in the charge now. So we're going to see what he's made of. Either way, it's going to be exciting and interesting going forward.
I think he's also played a very, very patient game.
Yeah.
To get to where he is. He's still in touch.
Absolutely.
This thing is not over.
No, for sure. I mean, if you look, we've got the top 4 separated by 13.5 minutes, give or take. So anyone's in with a shot. It just takes one lapse in concentration to change things and throw them on their head. So yeah, definitely exciting times in the bike racing. Then we've got Bonneville Brew. I think this is aimed at Charan. Salads don't win Dakars. Just ask Ox in what's it? Ox in its NHCHE. What's it? Ox niche. I don't know who that is, but obviously he was.
Can you explain a little bit more?
Feasting on some salads there. Yori Odan, I'm very sorry for NASA. Hope it will be better in 2025 Dakar.
I think it's going to be a whole lot different, in fact, from the next race.
Yeah. Could it be any worse? You know what I mean?
Well, let's talk about that a little bit later because there's some things we need. So put your thinking caps on in this whole NASA situation. It is massive, impactful.
Jan Kroble, and I'm going to mix these questions around. He says, sorry for the cut question because they came after, but what do the guys do if they need to take a dump, squint and flat throttle? I think the Oaks when they're in fight or flight mode, I don't think it's something that crosses their mind. But many hours,
I think your sphincter's properly puckered, so you don't really need to.
I think it's the last thing on their minds. But you never know. I think
take a leak.
One or two Oaks that have probably experienced that, and we need to find out who's been through that.
Do you, on a long race,
So the car guys all have external catheters, which looks like a condom that you glue on the end of your equipment, with a tube, and you just pee out the car.
And what do you use?
I use one of those. It's either that or
just
an adult diaper, which is not a great look. It's not a great way to go. Yeah. And I don't think you want to be peeing in your seat. So you've got to stay hydrated.
Let's just talk about the mechanics of this.
Yeah.
I know you've got no scamper.
Yeah.
So you're busy trying to drive and you need to pee.
Yeah.
Now, I know when I need to pee, it's sort of just like a relax a bit.
Yeah.
So do you slow down a bit or are you still pinning?
No, you don't slow down. Usually you try and wait for a little bit of a speed control stage or speed control section,
okay. All right.
or maybe if there's a stop and a road crossing. My guess is maybe at Dakar, the specials are a little bit shorter, so maybe they've got a bit more time in between. You try and time it that you're not going flat out, but I have done it going flat out.
And how did it go?
It's not the easiest, and you definitely can't be lifting because your nav can feel when you lift, and if you lift, then you're getting a nasty instruction through the headset. So.
I want to talk about navigators as we go on. Should we leave the comments for a bit and go into the comments, our interpretation of what happened in the box?
In the box, yeah, we can. If we want to touch on overall today, because we haven't done the overalls, Ricky Brabeck is the front man at the moment. 7 hours 9 seconds ahead of Ross, but like we say,
7 minutes.
Sorry. 7 minutes. Yeah, 7 minutes 9 seconds. My bad. And then Adrian van Beveren is third, 11 minutes 26 seconds.
So Van Beveren's 4 minutes behind Ross.
Yeah.
So he's
coming good.
Yeah, a bit of a pressure.
Yeah, he was sort of floating around, and I mean he started to make up ground now, but it seems like the last few stages he's got his act together more consistently than the other runners, which I feel is a bit of a concern. Maybe he's found a rhythm. Maybe he was just good in the dunes and the rockery is going to sort him out because that's where he wasn't so quick. So that could come into play, but. All of a sudden, and the thing is, all you need to do, and you can attest this, is you just need to believe just a little bit, and that can make all the difference. I don't know.
It adds up quickly. If you're doing, a second or two a kilometer, which is not that big in even in distance. If you look at it on the road, that adds up quickly over time. Likewise, if you're also overcooking it by a second or two a kilometer, literally you just need to hit one rock, one thing wrong, and you're down, and you can break the car. So it's a very subtle change in pace.
If you look at it now, if we say let's look at the top four, if you're sitting fourth, who's got the most to lose? You know what I mean? If you're coming third,
front go for sure. The pressure's on the front.
So I'm pretty sure Brabeck is feeling the pressure the most. Ross, obviously, he's got it. He's got the bit between his teeth, and he's sitting second. But he has been the guy for most of the race.
Yeah, and the gap's growing a little bit. That's got to inch on your mind.
That's the thing. Is it a mental thing? Because I don't know if you've been in these situations before, but when it comes championship time, and I saw this last year's ZX10 Cup, Graham van Breda had it in the palm of his hands, and then all of a sudden where he thought, let's just secure points for the championship.
No.
He found himself in an odd position where he shouldn't be, and all of a sudden he picked up drama with ice crashing in front of him and all sorts. So it's a dangerous place to be in.
I mean, there's that famous Senna thing where he crashed at Monaco.
Yeah.
And he just tried to take it a little bit easy. Yeah. And to judge that difference between being safe and flat out and taking it easy is hard. Now suddenly maybe you're 10 seconds a kilometer slower.
Yeah.
And then psychologically having a change between now I'm on the front foot and at the right pace, and now I'm going to start chasing, and that can really...
Yeah, and to go from slower to faster is always difficult.
That's hard, very hard.
The other thing is when you're pinning it, you focused.
Yeah.
When you think that you're driving easy, the mind wanders and... at least my mind. Maybe that's why I crashed so much.
Okay, well, moving on just for the overalls. Kevin Benavides is fifth, Toby Price sixth, Luciano Benavides seventh. So Kevin's still the fastest of the brothers. Then we've got the Colonel himself, Sanders in eighth, Stefan Svitko ninth, and then Micek is in 10th. So pretty much the same.
We're our South African boys, Southern African boys.
Bradley Cox 14th now, fourth in the Rally 2. Charan Moore 20th and 8th in Rally 2. So two South African boys.
Top 20 for Charan is bloody good.
Proper, hey? And then Ash Swixton, he's 32nd and 19th in the Rally 2, but also third in the rookies. And I think that's what we're missing on. There was a comment a couple nights ago. Third in the rookies, which is pretty impressive. Stuart Gregory 63rd, 46th in Rally 2, and then 9th in the Manly Moto. And then Ronald Fent, he is 66th overall, 49th in Rally 2, and also 21st in the rookies. So
and at least all our guys are out of the lowest into the 60s, which I think is a big thing.
Yeah. So
well, if we can get the guys into the 50s, because
anything can happen. Like stage 11 is a big one, and guys have got to push now. So anything can happen. Maybe we have a few guys falling away, but definitely exciting in the bike stuff. But for me, and I don't know if Peter is ready, but we've actually caught up with Bradley Cox. We caught it on the South African Dakar group on Facebook. But there's an interview with him today with his top 10 finish and his ready 2 stage win, which if Peter's ready, we can roll that one.
I think he's born ready, Peter.
Thank you, everyone.
And
really appreciate all the messages over the last few 24 hours, 48 hours. And yeah, obviously now it's super cool to have a good day. This one's been lined up for a couple of days, but I've been messing it up towards the end. So yeah, the morning was like camel grass and sandy sections with dunes and not dunes like you go up and down in the back of the camel grass. And yeah, it's just pretty comfy in it. Yeah, I just put my head down, and when I got to the refuel, I saw I was doing really well. So yeah, we left the refuel, and then it was like fast piece into riverbeds, out of riverbeds, through canyons, and then quite a lot of rocks. Yeah, I was just keeping my head down, concentrating on the navigation, and just telling myself to focus on the navigation. I had one moment, like 120 k's to go, and then I just said, calm down a little bit because I was maybe pushing a bit too much. I didn't see the caution, and yeah, I came in a little bit too fast for it. So all good, no issues. Speed was good, navigation was really good. So
I'm going to send everybody the picture of your front rim.
Yes.
Because obviously you've bought yourself a front rim.
Yes, we're 100 euros down.
You're going to
100 euros, Bart. How much is a rim? 150.
Yeah. So you're going to hang a nice bent front rim in your bedroom to remind yourself.
But,
and what do you say, Bart? It's only money, eh?
It's only money. Good job, mate.
Well done.
So yeah, proper result for Bradley there. It's funny how things work out, that all Brads are fast on KTMs. You've got Brad Binder, now you've got Brady Cox.
Aren't all bikes KTMs?
No, they're not. There's going to be an apology from you now. It's like him saying buttons. Come on, man.
Well, there's heroes, and then KTM, Husqvarna and Gas. They're all the same, aren't they? Just different paint.
Yeah, and then there's Sherco as well. The only one
All
that's
the same
only one that's really different is Hero, obviously, because that's made in India. But yeah, like I suppose there's no such thing as a bad bike. And then we also don't forget, Holden, you've missed one. Your favorite rider, Mason Klein, that's out, but he was on a Cove from China.
Yeah, well. So there's basically they say that the best motorbike is the one you're riding.
Absolutely, the one either that or the one that's paid in your garage. You know what I mean? Like,
And what's the correct number of bikes or racing cars to have?
it's no such
N
thing.
plus
eh?
one.
N plus one. And horses.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. I think we want to limit the horses and maximize the bikes.
Is it true that they say that one should always rent a horse and never buy one because they suck more money than racing cars?
Yeah, listen, while you're sleeping, those things eat, and they can drop dead in the middle of the night. And they're done. No race cars ever drop dead in the middle of the night.
Parked in the garage.
Yeah, and it's when it parks, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But you're enjoying riding a horse?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I do it.
Or do you just go there to hunt the pinnets?
I don't do it competitively. I mean, I try and not be competitive about the horses. No, it's just for myself. The cars, I'm competitive. Yeah, I race the cars.
Yeah, we're going to get back to cars. I want to think about the question about co-drivers, navigators, and who you'd like. I just want to, let's recap the stage today.
Yeah,
so
you go with your cars. I think it's been a while.
We'll go with, I almost want Peter to play that NASA clip again, but I think we'll leave that. So yesterday we had this theory that the Audis would hang back. Ekstrom and Peter Hansel finished, they started ahead of Carlos Sainz, that they'd hang back and look after him, escort him in. And about half an hour after the stage started, I was on the map. I had it blown up huge, and there they were, the three Audis. So that's going to be interesting. So now, because of the position now, Sainz is second today. So he's going to be a little bit on his own. Peter Hansel was sixth today. So going to be an interesting one tomorrow. But tomorrow's not as bad as today's. Let's just run some of the other things. Seradori, third overall today, and he just said he was on absolutely maximum attack. And then yesterday you saw that, well, we spoke about the picture where Seradori towed Loeb back to the pits. And apparently we were speculating, was it another motor problem? and it was absolutely nothing. They ran out of fuel. Yeah, right. I don't believe a word of that. There was a
Is there an
technical
apology
issue.
coming tomorrow, Colin?
I don't believe a word of it, in my opinion. And then the irony of the whole lot, and Peter's got a picture of this one, is Loeb towing Siradori back, because right at the end, the alternative pulley came off, and so they ran. How's that? The absolute irony. But that's the kind of sportsmanship. You're both in a race, and help each other out, because karma's a bitch, and you never know when you're going to need some absolutely help. We said that Bottrell, Brett Cummings, they were all on form. They just had things absolutely the way they had a really, really good stage. Now, 5th overall for the Dakar rookie Bottrell. Cummins has done a few of them on bikes as well. 6th, Peter Hansel, Marias and Mondleon, they were running second most of the day, and then they got caught out with navigation. And Peter, those pictures of the navigation. Now, I don't know enough on how to actually read what everything means when you talk to the navigation. But I do know that the numbers on the left-hand side at the top, like you've got 169.23, then you've got 187, and then you've got 190. Those are the kilometers. And each of those little pictures, and the symbols, they come quickly when you're doing 160, 170, even at 100 k's an hour. That's all on the electronic tablet. They come quickly, and if you're in dust, you're gonna get lost. So Marias had some navigation issue, and it's relatively easy. I think the news of really today, which is probably the not so very nice, is De Villiers missed a waypoint. And I've just seen the timing for today, and it puts him down in. It was just he gets a 15-minute penalty, and when you miss a waypoint and you know you've missed it, you can normally go back and find it. Yeah, so he's 24th for the stage today. Thank you very much, Peter. So what happened was that when they realized that they'd missed it, they'd already opened the next waypoint. So you can't go back. You can't go back. Yeah. So they had to accept the 15-minute penalty, which has changed the position in the overalls, but we'll get to that. So, may as well tell it now. It goes from 5th to 8th.
It's very unusual for Janelle to make mistakes.
Yeah.
I mean, it normally runs the whole Dakar just flawless on everything. So.
Yeah. So we had in the beginning last week, guys, when Janelle was 12th, everybody was there, blah, blah, blah. And I said that, he's still got a chance to finish on the podium. He'll still get in the top 5.
If you'd crossed that waypoint already, how much time do you think it would have taken to turn and go back? Let's say if they
less than 15 minutes.
Would it have?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what a lot of guys do is they say, right, the penalty for missing this is 15 minutes, so we can hunt for, say, 10 minutes and then bugger off.
Okay.
Because you don't want to hunt more than 15 minutes, because then it's fruitless and futile.
Yeah, I was just trying to sort of
exercise.
weigh up how harsh the penalty was as opposed to fixing it if you could have fixed it. But 15 minutes is a lot.
It's a lot.
And then Baragwanas came from, like Lazarus, from nowhere. Finished 11th. He said it was very, very rough. And so they've got a good starting position.
Brian's a great driver.
Yeah.
I've been in the car with him as well. He's really amazing.
And it's also a two-wheel drive car, so it's interesting.
Well, he's in the four-wheel drive now.
But you've been in the two-wheel drive, so it's very interesting to see the Century versus your car.
He's a great driver. So, I mean, I think they've had some car issues. I think without some of the technical stuff from a very new car, I'm sure he'd be up a good couple of places.
Yeah, and I think we see Siradori is finishing 3rd overall. It's just absolutely fantastic. And Sod Variawa, they stopped to check the water pressure. They thought it might be a sensor. So it's got pressure and temperature. You want the pressure to stay there. When the pressure starts dropping, you've probably got a leak. And you've got one of those Motec dashes on it, and it's got all the warnings and alarms. So it's relatively easy to see when something goes wrong.
You can see exactly what's going on in the car. I don't know how many 100 sensors there are, but whenever something comes up, it'll come up on the dash. You can see exactly what the problem is.
Do you look at the instruments at all, or do you just watch the gear change lights?
No, I just watch the road. The navigators watch the instruments. I mean, they're like a couple of pages of output there. You know, they're from 4 or 5 pages, so they can scroll through them. If an alarm goes off, you see an alarm on the dash, and you can try.
But that's his job.
That's his or hers job.
So you just look at the.
I just drive.
So talk about his or hers. You've done some races with Elvine Fonk.
Yeah.
She's very good in a car, isn't she?
You know, it's amazing. I don't know if people quite realize what a difference a great navigator makes. And it's a great navigator pairing. So it needs to click with the driver and pair with the driver. But the difference that it makes to your pace, the speed that you can carry,
your confidence,
almost taking some of that concentration load off you, because you know the navigator is kind of there backing you up on. You can carry a bit more speed, brake a bit later, the turns. I mean, it really is a proper partnership in a car. And different navigators have different styles of how they're navigating, more information, less information, and I guess different drivers like more input or less input. But I mean, South Africa's got some incredibly talented navigators who can read the road and read the books. They're not just reading a script. You know, like they're looking ahead and they're seeing what's there. It's an amazing partnership. Yeah.
And a lot of them have got a lot of experience where they may have been on similar kinds of roads, and some of them have been in really quick cars. I mean, Elvine was a Ford factory
also
driver.
A lot of them have ridden bikes before, so they come from a biking background. I mean, Stuart Gregory navigates here, they really have an incredible skill level, and they're very rare. It's hard to find a good navigator.
Now, navigator availability has got an impact on where you raced this year.
So it's a big issue in South African racing now, is finding enough really, really good national level navigators. The national races here have, 30 cars, maybe 40 cars. So it's hard to find good navigators. And it takes a long time, I think, to be really good. And you have to want to do it. It's not everyone wants to be strapped into a car with someone else driving at 170 through the Milliefields, or the dunes. So there's a shortage of good navigators here. And it makes a difference you want to race with a great navigator, especially if you're learning.
Cool. Let's just talk about overalls in cars. If you got interesting
I've got questions. I've got lots of questions. Yeah, I was thinking maybe if your navigation thing advertise on Marketplace. I'm sure you'll find someone that's.
Well, there are a lot of people who can, but there are not a lot of people who are experienced.
Yeah,
and who gel with you. Because
have you had that in the past where you've got someone where you just don't have that vibe? So
I've been extremely lucky with. All
you see how careful he is about dissing anybody.
No.
This like is a poster boy for political.
No. It's I haven't, and you would know straight away.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll know after 5 kilometers this is not working.
Yeah.
Because it's stressful. I mean, when you have a big crash. I've had big crashes. Do you know what I mean? There's got to be trust, and
you're not selling yourself.
No, they're pictures. They're pictures of me in the irrigation ditch.
Cas Kruger continues to test my Afrikaans reading. Pas op vir die wit vlaggies.
The white flags.
Yeah. Calvin Croft, great job, Charan Moore. Keep it up. I'm glad you saw that interview. Johan Grobler, why is there such a difference in reliability between the two hunters? Colin, go.
What do you mean the two hunters? The 6 or 7 hunters?
He just says 2 hunters.
It's a good question, because you'd expect the same problems to come out. I don't know, driving style?
So they run by ProDrive.
The same team running both.
Dave Richards, running all of them. And I would say world rally champions many times over. They ran Scuba Dubaroos forever. They are properly world class. It's running. We do know that there's some issue with the Ford motors because enough of them have gone broken. And the way NASA, yesterday I saw some stuff where he was not entirely happy.
As opposed to today?
Today he was
less.
I would put money on it that Glyn and SVR Hall Speed have already had an inquiry in there. I want an Evo
now.
Bucky. Tell me how much it costs and I'll pay it. Because the one thing that NASA's not short of is ammo. And he just wants to win. And he thought that he was it was very, very close for him driving for Toyota, and things just didn't work out the way it was. He thought he made a really great decision. Maybe Dave Richards can try and recover it by saying, oh, we're going to put the GTR motor in it, but I think that
I think it's done. I think it's a miserable.
I may have to apologise.
And I don't know if people know, I think one of the reasons South African cars do so well is that the national and regional cross-country racing here is fucking tough.
Yeah.
The conditions are tough. I mean, the side-by-sides can't last here. They're fine in Dakar, but they break here every 5Ks. And if your car can run and be reliable in South Africa, from a physical reliability point of view, Dakar's kind of a lot easier. So that's part of the reason that the South African cars are so good.
Yeah.
They tested here, they race here, they break here, they do a whole season here, and then they go to Dakar. So they're fine.
For a holiday.
Well, there's still 13 of the Evo cars running.
I mean,
of the Toyotas.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah, it is,
and it's not just the engineering and the construction, it's the racing here over the course of a season. And you've seen it with top pro drivers coming out here to race in national cross country,
get drilled.
and they get drilled. Yeah.
I mean, there's even a sometime Formula One driver who came and he got a wake-up call. Nasser came here and raced, and he was running like third or fourth, and then he broke it when he was pushing too hard. So it's a massive championship. So if you look at the guys, Gareth Woolridge, Guy Bottrell, there was a good fight in the championship there. Now, Bottrell finished second in the championship. Where's he lying over? He's 9th overall.
It's incredible.
It is.
For a first Dakar.
It is an unbelievable performance. Hats off to him. I think it's absolutely freaking fantastic.
And also, the Toyota's tech, I mean, it's very, very good, but it's not like factory Audi just throw gazillions at it. It really is honed and developed over years. It's not like they're running a super exotic factory setup that no one has done that kind of stuff before.
Look, there's some clever stuff. Glyn is there.
Clever. Very. I'm just saying it's not this DTM motor in the back and running electronic things, and it's kind of stuff that everyone can see and understand. Just race honed and.
From a technical point of view, Glyn Hall is a magician.
No,
He's absolutely brilliant. Anybody who has him on their side has got a complete unfair advantage. And he understands racing, understands drivers, understands the mechanicians who've got to work on the car. So we're talking about overalls. Saints has had his gap lobe closed, took 4 minutes out of it. I still think that thing's going to break. So you asked the question about what's the difference between them?
Well, the reliability,
they don't race in South Africa. Mr. Richards, if you want your cars to be reliable, bring them to South Africa. I said this yesterday, I'll say it again tomorrow and the next day. For the freest advice in the world, bring your cars here, race them here, and you might have a chance of winning Dakar with more cars than one finishing. With respect, sir.
Great save, Colin.
I kicked him under the table too.
Thank you.
Well, you know what? Luckily, if you want an opinion, I'll give it to you.
For free.
Two, I'll give you two.
Free advice.
And then Marius is third overall, Demevius fourth. And then what was fifth for De Villiers is now eighth for De Villiers. And Seradori goes up to fifth. So Seradori, in what was considered a superfluous, a useless two-wheel drive car, out of date, out of class, to still finish fifth in Dakar. And they're going to, there's still a little bit of stuff left there. Shishrat 6. De Villiers, you've got Prokop, then De Villiers, then Bottrell. And I think there's a 15-minute penalty or difference between Bottrell and Prokop with De Villiers inside it. So, well done, Guy. I think it's Guy and Brett. They're a team. They work hard in the car. Leia Saints is 15th, Ekstrom 18th, Variawa 20th. And then it doesn't really matter from a positional point of view. Baragwanath 41 and Woolridge 45. So Woolridge got going. They changed the motor on Nanny Roma's car. They got a whole lot of penalty on it. They changed the other ProDrive's motor yesterday, I'm told, and it got another penalty. I haven't had a chance to. The the scoring hasn't updated all the penalties yet.
So how many penalties are in there? It's quite a few.
All of them.
That's quite a few.
Yeah, those Toyota motors are just bulletproof.
Yeah. If you keep the water pressure right, and keep the oil on the inside, it's fine.
Bulletproof.
Yeah.
I mean, they do just thousands of
It's a
Ks.
Toyota.
Flat out.
Interesting
really
theory about that. The last Toyota motor that was a complete change in concept was a 2JZ motor. So it was the Toyota engineers decided to make it a proper strong motor. You can take a 2JZ, the 6-cylinder twin cam, and make thousands of horsepowers on it. You can have a 1,000 horsepower road reliable car with little bits of money. So they now changed from the V8 in the Land Cruiser to a V6 turbo. Imagine twin turbo. Imagine if there's a tiny little problem in it. So my understanding is that this was the second of the motors that Toyota have engineered to be bulletproof. And
I mean, the thing takes 3 Motecs to run. You've got no idea about the amount of sensors, the complexity in the motor, the amount of computing power that has to go in there, but they are just bulletproof and reliable.
It's got direct fuel injection, port fuel injection, cams that you can variable timing on the cams. There's voltages that you need to pump all the slimming injectors in it. It's got water to air intercoolers, which they're running on the factory cars. Your car's got an air-to-air intercooler.
Yes, that's right.
And those cars are complex.
Yeah,
and
but they never have engine problems. Never.
That's a win.
For
any racer, that's a win.
So that's...
Is that your results there? Jumping back into the comments, because we're falling a bit behind here. Donnie Steinman, Toyota fans also follow car 500 and 501. Do we know who they are?
Well...
Whip out the laptop. Eben Marburg, CR7 had a great stage today. Matlanta and Kube, where have you been? The Audi 2.9 litre is starting to fire now. CR6T and hashtag CR7T. Stuart David, hi Colin. You must still come for a hot seat ride in the yellow synchro.
I'll get there.
I'm going to say no to that because Colin's an old man and look at how that synchro goes ramping through the wilderness.
Who's your old man?
He's going to be peeing blood for months. Cass Kruger filling us in here on that comment where we couldn't distinguish a South African rugby player. Ox is a Springbok front row, he likes cake, and then someone else builds on that. He's a brilliant Springbok rugby prop who after the World Cup is known for eating salad, hence the Woolworths memes of him eating chocolate cake. We don't have time for rugby. Laurie James, I'm glad to see Barry Gwyneth right up there. Absolutely.
What was that number we were supposed to look at?
500 and 501. Johan Peens, what happened to Janelle today? They were doing so well and then dropped 20 minutes. He will have to go flat out. That's the penalty you referred to, Colin.
Yeah.
Right. Ntlantla has finally hit us with his knowledge. And 100% right here. Brabeck is the only one not to win a stage in the top 5. Moral of the story is discretion is better part of valor. And that's exactly it. He hasn't won a stage, but he's been there. He's been like in the top 3 for majority of it. I think he's only stepped out of the top 3 places about 2 or 3 times, but other than that, he's been there, and that's exactly what it is. I mean, I don't know if you guys followed World Superbikes at a stage, but a couple...
What's that?
Yeah, a couple decades ago, Andrew Pitt won the 600 Supersport Championship, and he never won a race. It was just all about scoring points. So, these things...
Isn't that the objective of the game? Complete the race in the shortest possible time. Not winning stages is glory, and it's great for marketing people, but from an overall point of view, means nothing.
That's it. We could win all the majority of the stages, but if you can't put it together or you throw it away at the end, it counts for nothing.
You have one terrible stage. That's it.
That's it, exactly. Mel, cool show. I'm a fan. Thank you, Mel. We appreciate that. Dickie Carson's greeting on behalf of missing Goxels. I don't know. Are we in trouble?
I don't know. Of course not.
Probably.
It's just the depth of it.
We'll apologize to her. Okay, then he's fixing my pronunciation, but it's out there. It's done already. Stop it, Peter. Penny D'Souza, did Bradley Cox get a 2-minute penalty today? Great ride. Papa Alfie and the whole team can be very proud of him. I think he did get a penalty today, but I'd have to double check. But I'm sure the whole Cox team and the whole setup there in Dakar is very proud. I mean, he has ridden well, but this is the cherry on top of the cake. He's had a fantastic Dakar, and I look forward to the next few stages with him, especially now with the confidence and the belief that's coming through. Because he is a confident young man, but I think he'll just come on in leaps and bounds going forward.
And he's got a wonderful advantage with his father being.
Absolutely, hey.
Although there's pressure that comes with that too.
Yeah.
You're up in there with a name.
The penalty wasn't today. It was overall he's got a 2-minute penalty, but it wasn't in today's stage.
Okay,
now the next thing is, when did he get it? It's Google is your friend.
Yeah. Then we've got Francois Bossi Loubser. You don't buy something that eats your money while you're sleeping.
There we go.
Banging gears and making tears. But you say that, hey, but we had that bonfire in the Bivouac with a couple of cars that burned down, and that cost you money, while you're sleeping.
Yeah,
so.
keep the cars away from the fire.
I mean, can you imagine being the two mechanics are going, you're doing a diligent job. It's 2:30 in the morning. You refuel this thing. You go for a drive. The next thing, and now you walk back into the pits. Hey guys, where's the car? About that. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's got to. I really pity them.
Yeah. Anyone got some meat that they want to bring outside?
No. We don't joke about that. It's serious business.
Yeah,
it was
fair
horrible.
enough. Yeah, but
and I hate seeing cars like that.
Yeah, me too. Anything.
I hate seeing crashed cars and
it's terrible.
burnt cars.
Yeah, because it just costs money and it's someone's sadness. Eh?
Terrible.
Yeah. Right, let's move on here. Kaz Kruger in English this time. Thank you, Kaz. Colin, you have to share the rumors regarding NASA.
I'll get to that when we start talking about tomorrow.
All right. Johan Pins, Janelle is in trouble. We have to go flat out. No point of hanging back. Yeah, look, I think that 50 minutes is a bit now, but
I think it's more than now.
Yeah, I think.
But however, we need to get rid of the word but. However, I don't think it's he'll be.
I don't think he'll change how he drives. Huh?
No.
I think he does.
Janelle drives the way he is. He is a consummate professional.
Yeah. He's not going to try and push extra and bin it and compound the problems. No.
Definitely
he's too
not.
professional for that.
Then we've got Natlantla. Isn't the decision for Nasser to race for ProDrive got to do with his new deal with Dacia? Won't ProDrive run Dacia? Heard something like that. Colin, you can comment on that.
So my understanding of Dacia is that it's basically the Hunter with a GTR motor in it and a Dacia body on it. So essentially it's the same thing. The problems, I believe, are caused by a philosophy. And I'm way on the edge here, and I know that I might just be
in trouble again.
Anyway, I'm going to say
it's about to get real. Tell us, Colin.
I'm going to go with what I believe, and if I'm wrong, I'll be wrong. But what I believe at the moment is that the issues that, to a lesser degree, Ford, but to a greater degree, ProDrive have got is in a design philosophy and a lack of understanding and experience on what cross-country racing happens. The NWM Fords in South Africa were strong, they were quick. They made some fundamental changes in the suspension setup and design and changed dampers, and the motors suddenly started breaking. The motors in the Hunters have also broken. They've also had some suspension issues that we haven't seen a Toyota with massive wheels come off. Glyn has learned that when you can club a big part of the earth, you'll hurt a driver before you hurt the car in a Toyota. So I'll say it again. If you want to win Dakar or want to run right at the front of at Dakar, have a shit ton of money like Audi have got, and with all their Le Mans experience, or come to South Africa and run your cars here. So I don't think that NASA's going to race a Hunter again.
Penny D'Souza, great P5 for Guy and Brett.
Yeah, very much so.
Very
now,
much
Penny, without a doubt. So let's go to rider and driver of the day. Who have you got?
So mine is stage 1, Rally 2, Bradley Cox, no doubt. Yeah.
That was just very quick.
That's easy, yeah.
Because I'm going to hedge my bets. I suppose I can go eeny, meeny, money, mo, but I'm gonna do a joint. Seridori for third, and Bottrell Cummings in fifth.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So I'd have to, you have to recognise Seridori as well. But you have to acknowledge Bottrell and Cummings' issues. So that's my driver of the day.
I don't think anyone will fight you on that one. Still on the NASA subjects, Isaac Beitel, to be fair to NASA, when he came to SA in November 2022 to race the Paris 400, won the prologue first time out, then let the Toyota guys pass, and they were in a fight for the championship as he didn't want to interfere. And then his drivetrain was caught in Y, and he decided to retire rather than causing damage. No illusions, NASA is seriously quick. I don't think anyone disputes that. No one disputes that.
No, I mean, he's a double world champion, double Dakar win. He's probably... if you had to rank in
the up in goats, I mean,
he's proper quick. And I think you can take him anywhere, and he's focused as hell.
I think from an interest factor, just throws in a lot of interest and spanners in the works, which is fun to talk about. And I think I don't think at any stage we throwing in his talent or ability into question.
No.
Just a bad situation, wrong place, wrong time, wrong Dakar.
It's amazing that he calls it so quickly. I mean, it's very unusual for a driver to go.
But he started throwing he's been upset for a while, and things haven't gone his way. And the strange thing is that the relationship that he and Glenn Hall and the Toyota Gazoo people had was like this. It was
for years.
It was incredibly good and incredibly tight. And when you've been, I think it was there for 7 or 8 years, and when you've been in a team, you become part of a family, and you kind of think. Now you're going to a new operation with new management with new management. It takes a while to he hasn't got what he wants. From the way he did that publicly.
No, that's not coming back.
That's not coming back. When you say you're not putting your your bum back in the car, you're out of there.
Yeah, I think that's the end.
So shall we go go with your questions, and I'll hold my rumours to the last.
Yeah, Yamaha is coming back next year with a sidecar. Stefan will be driving and NASA will navigate. Mario De Souza, guy has done a brilliant job and is a rookie. However,
Mario and Penny are watching together.
Yeah, we cannot underestimate the fantastic job that Brett has done with all his experience. I'm pleased to say they have clicked. Johan Grobler, I'm not even going to attempt that.
What's in?
Yeah, there's no chance in hell. I'm not having a very good night with my reading delicious skills. I'm not even going to bother. But touche. Angelo Marcia, have you seen the video of NASA saying that he's not driving tomorrow and going home tonight? Yes, we did. We opened with that. And then Jenny Habig, absolutely
Janine Habig. You've got to get it right. Jeannie Habig.
Jeannie, absolutely good pairing, and Guy doesn't have to stop giving Brett the accolades he deserves. And as a rookie driver, he relies heavily on Brett for guidance and advice. Forever grateful. And that's nice words. But that's us up to date. Colin, let's get to the rumour mill, because we also need to get to the Hero Minute, and we need to discuss catering at length tonight.
Yeah, well, let's go to the Hero. If we can go to the Hero Minute now, I'm trying to buy a little bit of time.
Let's do that.
In terms of rumours.
We're going to play in if Peter is ready. We're going to throw in the Hero Minute, and then Ashley Thrigston has got something interesting coming up. He is going to auction off his helmet. So we've got
the helmet that he's using in Dakar.
That's it, yeah. So there's been apparently a lot of demand for it. He's also got some bills he needs to pay. And the bidding starts, it's a silent auction online, and all the details, we'll throw it up in the comment section. And it starts at $100. And that's
so I reckon we should...
Not 100 Zim dollars, huh?
USD.
Billions.
Yeah.
Simon, how many are going to go there?
I'll go $500.
Yeah, so... There we have our first bidder. But we'll play you both videos. So we'll start with the Hero Minute with Ross Branch, and then here's the video after that with Ash Thrigston, where he's talking about his auction of his helmet. So Peter, take it away.
Hey guys, so that's the end of stage 9, and a little bit disappointed. I lost so much time, but I gave it my everything, and I just wasn't fast enough on the day, and that's racing, I'm not too disappointed in the way I rode. It was just I didn't have the speed, and I didn't take the risks that I should have taken. But we're here in one piece. Bikes back in the bivouac after another stage. Still in the fight. So got a couple more days to put the hammer down. And just try to stay in there. Thanks so much for all the support, and we'll chat to you tomorrow.
Morning, guys. Due to a increase in demand of people asking for my helmet after the Dakar, I've decided to, as much as it means a lot to me, it was custom made for me. I've decided to put it up for auction. I still have dunes and dunes of bills to pay. Not mountains and mountains, but dunes and dunes. So I got to try and do my best effort to get it in. So I'm going to put this beauty up for auction. As you see it, it can be yours. We'll be posting more in the group now about what it requires. Basically, the auction is going to be open until I land on the 21st of January at, I think, 12:30. We'll be posting a number in the group that you can message your bid to. It's going to be a silent bid, and that person will then keep you up to date as to where the bid is. So yeah, bit of sacrifice, but yeah, custom made, awesome helmet. But yeah, gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, thanks guys.
So yeah, then get your bidding in on Ash's helmet. Obviously, it's not Zim dollar as I said, but Simon's already put in 500, so we're off to a good start. Simon, there's actually a question here for you. Dakar anytime soon?
I thought long and hard and would have done the Dakar in a side-by-side, but you participating there, you're not racing. The budget to do Dakar in a car is probably 4 years of a whole national series here. It's just too much of a trade-off. You know, you can race here flat out for 4 years, you know, I don't know, 8-10 events a year, or you can do one Dakar.
But you've got a money machine that you...
I keep pushing that button to go faster, but the cars eat it as fast as you can push it. So.
Cars eat money faster than horses.
Yeah, I don't know. Dakar's, it's a massive undertaking. Yeah. You know, you see what someone like Henny's done and put into it, and the commitment that it takes, and all the cash that you have to throw at it to try and do it in a factory, it's huge.
And motorsports is cruel. You can spend all that money, kiss 4 years goodbye, and crash it in the first few stages.
You can have a look easily and see what happens. I mean, it's a very easy thing to happen. So
absolutely.
You've got to be prepared to do kind of a good couple of them.
Yeah.
You know, it's especially if you want to try and race.
So this year, sum up your aspirations or what you're going to do in racing this year.
National cross country here. If I can do national and regional, I'll do them both. If I don't find the right nav for national, I'll do regional with a good nav. You know, the difference in racing is there's no real difference if you look at the courses and the layouts of the route. Sometimes the regional races are even better than the national ones. Obviously, there's more competition at a national, but it'll be a combination of those two.
So you just want to go racing?
Just want to race. That's all I want to do is race cross country. Yeah. Maybe one overseas race. We'll think about it. One overseas cross country race.
In a car or a side by side?
Haven't decided yet. We'll see.
Depending on which way the exchange rate and how the machine works.
Budget and just for the experience of doing an international one. Now you can't start selling your children. I've got kids. You want to buy a kid?
Kids are for sale. Horses are not.
And not the cars. No, the cars are. Yeah.
So we've mentioned food.
Yeah. Whew. What do you think tonight?
We've got a picture of
do we?
Our executive chef in action. Peter, just show we had cheeseburgers tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, that looks absolute. It was actually quite delicious. It
was good, yeah.
And we had pepper cheese on it. Cheddar cheese.
I actually thought originally
that one for me. Yeah.
I thought someone dropped my cheese on the floor when I arrived, but I realized it was pepper cheese. I'm not used to such luxuries.
Do you know what we didn't have? Was some thinly sliced onion and some tomato. That was lacking. So on that basis, I think I'm going to give it about a 7.92.
That's harsh. Look, there was the option. I did throw it out to the chef if you wanted 1 onion or 5. Oh, no, sorry, no onions or 5. He said none. So, yeah, that's
I think the chef just wanted 1 onion.
Yeah, he did want 1 onion, but the option was none or 5. And he said none. So, because we obviously, Raceday, we work on a strict budget here.
Absolutely.
So, I think based on that, I'm going to give it a 7.3. just because of the stinginess on the onion. I mean, are we not the face of Raceday TV? Do we not deserve an onion?
Finely tuned athletes. And a bit of, in fact, you must actually try it with some spinach on it. I'm going to bring this fresh baby spinach leaves. It's better than lettuce. Lettuce is for rabbit food. Spinach is for...
I like us. I was just sitting here. You just feel like,
well, I don't know. I mean, I never had a burger.
You just
could be saying anything. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a fair call on catering. But last few comments here. Mario D'Souza, 100% guy, is a gent, a professional, and an awesome person. Deserves the results they're getting. Penny D'Souza, gotta love NASA, wears his heart on his sleeves, drives hard, plays hard, says it like it is. Yeah, all good. And then Penny confirms, yes, Colin, we are watching together. And that's pretty much us on the comments. So yeah, going into tomorrow.
What are we going to do tomorrow? They're going to race from... They're going to go nowhere.
Yeah, all around to go nowhere.
Yeah. So it's they leave Alula and then go back to Alua. Got to get it right. I just want to see the technical department is sending me huge text. And yeah, I agree, not now. It's a little bit premature. They've got a liaison of 178 Ks, race for 371. So they'll carry about 320 litres of fuel in it. And then 65 back to the Bivouac. So let's start with my two rumours, my predictions.
Is that what you got the warning about?
Yeah, he said the one is blah, 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 blah.
If you put your page over it, you
I put my I'm using the ostrich syndrome. If you can't see it, it doesn't exist. I'm going to go with it anyway. There's a massive project coming from Raceday, which will be thrown out there. It's a fantasy project that we'll work on, but more of that later. So tomorrow, what's going to happen? Saints is going to be out. Loeb is going to be out on his own. I think he's going to have a full-on go. Saints is second. He can afford to back off. And the other Audis are a little bit behind. We're going to try and do a bit of an expose or a deep dive into the Audi and show you some of the tech on it and things that I think are really tricky because it's a lacquer car.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it would be really great if it had a V6 twin turbo. They've got Audi have got a really nice 3.4, 3.5 litre V6 twin turbo that I think would be really cool in it. But hey, they chose to put a DTM motor with a generator on it and a whole lot of things. So Loeb full on attack. It doesn't help. He's got no ambition to come second.
I think he'll go flat.
Flat out. If it breaks, it breaks.
Yeah.
And then you go home.
Yeah.
And then it puts Marius in second in a Toyota.
That's incredible.
I'll throw a prediction out there tomorrow for the bikes. Something will happen tomorrow. We're going to lose one in the top three. Someone's going to make a mistake. Someone's going to have a crash. Something's going to happen. But
you think the pressure's a lot?
Tomorrow, someone will have to make a charge, and it's either going to work out for them or it's going to end in tears. But I think from the top three, someone's race will be done. Hopefully, it's not Ross's, but that's my prediction. Is tomorrow is the time to make moves.
My other prediction is that NASA's in car buying mode at the moment.
We buy cars.
Yeah. So, Shamir, if you want to sell him a car, you can probably charge him what you want to. That's it for tonight. Thank you very much for watching. Tomorrow is Wednesday, the whole day, Simon. It's the middle of the week. It's hump day.
Okay, it's news to me.
It's going to be fantastic. Apparently all day long. Simon Murray, thank you very much for coming in.
Super cool.
And keep smiling, because your motto in your car is, what do you do when you get in the car?
Oh, go flat. Yeah.
Flat out.
Never lift.
Absolutely lovely.
Or
Never
use
lift.
the catheter.
Preferably both at the same time.
Don't wear out there equipment.
Cliffy, thank you for your fun. To all of you who've watched, thank you very much. To catering, yeah, good effort. We need to up the game with some freshness on it, and we've got to have some veggies and stuff. Technical department, executive producer, vision mixer, sound engineer, thank you very much. To all of you who watched, muchas gracias. Ciao, andiamo, and we'll see you tomorrow at 7:24. Remember, be kind, be nice,
be fast,
be lekker, and be fast. Thanks. Cheers.
Lone finger gun.